On today's hot sheet, I discuss the weekly housing inventory update. Do consumers actually feel rich? And who believes we have a chance at a soft landing? Today is Monday, September 11th, 2023. I am Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. All right, let's go on this Monday morning hot sheet. Let me know in the live chat which market you're tuning in live from. I'm back in Naples, Florida today. It's very much a pleasure to be here after, I think, 3 locations last week: Naples, Connecticut, and Austin. I think I have 3 locations this week: Naples, Connecticut, and potentially, well, I'm on the books for LA if I don't bail out of it. What we're not going to bail out of is the inventory update. We do it every single week to kick off the week. And let's take a look at where we're at on housing inventory. It is barely positive week over week, yet better than this week last year in weekly gains, not in total. Let's take a deeper look. Of course, all of these slides will be available for BAMX members in the daily download section of BAMX. You can get a BAMX by using code HOT to get 10% off. So the weekly inventory change from September 1st to the 8th saw such a pedestrian increase. It's like, can't really call it an increase. It's probably flat, but it was an increase. I mean, we're talking about 300 active inventory increase according to Altos research, better than what we experienced this same week last year, okay, where we saw a 5,000 home decrease. This is the inventory peak for the year, this 509,156. Right now, most homes active on the market for 2023. We're living in it, baby. This is where we're at. For context, though, active listings for this week in 2015 were about 1.2 million. So don't get too excited there. I wanted to see, we've been saying, hey, can we start to get 4,000 or 5,000 chunk gains here? If you watch football yesterday, a chunk gain is like a nice first down plus. Can we get some chunk gains week over week and connect the black line 2023 to the green line 2022? We are year over year negative on inventory. Love to see those two reconnect, as all 3 years here in front of you, 21, 22, and 23, are historically low inventory years. What's the lowest on record is our new listing data, and we see that continues to unfortunately plummet. 2023 on a sharp decline here last week for new listings. We continue to be well below the 22 and 22 markers for new listings. One of the reasons why home prices, in an environment where it's become the most unaffordable home market in over 40 years. Yes, that's right. With where we're at on the 30-year fixed, with where we're at on home values, insurance, which continues to go up, and taxes, of course, we're in the most unaffordable housing market in 40 years. That being said, home prices just don't seem to move because the inventory isn't there, because 4 out of 10 homeowners own their home cash. The vast majority, of course, have an interest rate well under 6%. So the 7.5%, the 7% 30-year fixed isn't impacting homeowners. It's impacting a very small segment of those called the new purchasers. And that's why we're not seeing home prices go down. Of course, the best precursor to improving affordability would be to have inventory go up. That's why we're watching it closely every single week. We haven't seen that. We want to see hopefully an increase now that we're after the Labor Day holiday. Kids are back to school, basically, I think, at 100% of communities. Maybe we'll get to see some new listings come on this fall to help the inventory issue. Here's just a look right here at new listings week over week. July 21st being the largest new listing week of 63,000 plus. And then this past week, we saw our lowest at 50,000 plus new listings. Definitely need to see more than that in order to get this inventory back up to a healthy, sustainable level. For people to feel like they're living in a sustainable environment, they like to feel like they've got a little bit of extra money in their pocket. Bloomberg came out with a study recently, and the headline is, "Are you rich?" Let me know in the comments, the live chat. Are you feeling rich right now in these economic times? Billionaires, of course, they are. Low wage workers are very aware that they aren't. But vast swaths of America's regular rich, Bloomberg says, don't feel that way. And it's keeping everybody down. So the regular rich, their feelings are keeping everybody else down. Okay, you know who they are. They're lawyers from New York, doctors in Phoenix, dentists in Memphis. They own construction companies in your hometown. Do they ever? Builders in full control of the real estate market right now. Burger franchises off the highway, homes in the resort villages your parents want to retire in or have retired in. They're young, old, they're Dems, they're Republicans. They have two things in common. They're rich, but they don't feel that way. These are Bloomberg's words, okay? So how rich or poor do you feel? Okay, very poor, poor, getting by, comfortable, very rich, or very rich. So all respondents here, over 20% of them say very poor, poor, getting by. So these are those regular rich taking the survey. 25% of them saying they're feeling poor or getting by. Comfortable would be, 25 to the 70, about 50%. And then rich or very rich of the regular rich feeling that they are indeed rich. Okay, let's take another look at some of these as it relates to home values. And then we can play a little bit of a game here on the hot sheet. You can give me locations. Will your money go further here or there? Two locations. So be thinking feeder markets when we get to that. Changing locations would make some feel richer. Okay. Question: have you recently considered moving to a different part of the country to change your financial situation? Yes, for about 30+%. No, for just under 70%. So 3 out of 10 regular rich folks in your community have recently considered moving to a part of the country to change your financial situation. Maybe this chart can help unlock some inventory. Maybe there's an opportunity here. Next question. Do you think moving to a different part of the country would make you feel richer or poorer? Okay. Just under 20% say much richer. Just under 30% say richer. No difference would be almost half, about 50%. Just under 10% poorer and more poorer. So moving to a different part of the country, do you think it would feel richer or poorer? Most people, if they were going to make a move to another part of the country from where they are right now, 1 out of 2 basically think they'd be either much richer or richer. And then a large percentage say no difference. It's very small percentage that feel like moving to a different part of the country from where they are now would actually make them poorer. Interesting to know that about consumers, that they see greener pastures or no difference with a move, but that there is a large percentage of folks in our communities right now, the regular rich, the homeowner, that believes there's an opportunity to feel even more rich with a move, right? We need a reason for people to unlock the equity that they're sitting on, which is enormous, to jump out of a potentially 3% mortgage interest rate and start a new one. And maybe that opportunity of feeling richer might be enough of one for them to make the move. Does owning a home boost feelings of wealth? Do you rent or own a primary home? Okay, so for owners here, they say, I mean, this is overwhelming. For the ones that feel, the regular rich that feel like they're just getting by, the comfortable, everybody here believes owning a home boosts the feeling of wealth. And then approximately how much is your home worth? You see here about 35% earn the 100,000 to 500,000. Then 500 to $1 million is the largest category, 45%, and then $1 million or more is, almost 20%. Because remember, these are regular rich as classified by Bloomberg. Your dentist, your attorney, your small business owner, your franchise owner, rather, is what they use. So there you go. A little bit of data onto the mindset of consumers. How rich do they feel with this survey of over 1,000 objectively wealthy Americans, which was defined in this case by making at least $175,000 a year, roughly the amount required to crack the top 10% of U.S. tax filers. A full quarter told us they were either very poor, or just getting by. So $175,000 earner, 25% said they were just getting by. Okay, but we know that 75% felt differently, and they all felt very strongly about owning a home. 9 out of 10 of them own a home. It makes them feel wealthier, boosts their wealth outlook, and 50% almost thought there was an opportunity. This is what's almost 50%, just under 50%, thought there was an opportunity to feel even richer by moving to another part of the country. That really stuck out to me. So let's play the game here. And I want to see some comments. Where would you feel richer? Okay, so we've got the annual household income of $175,000 that Bloomberg is using for the study. An income of $175,000 puts you in a bracket with 8.9 million others earning more than 81.3% of households in all metros. So let's start with Austin, Texas. It's where I just was on Friday at an incredible event put on by Jeremy Knight and Ian Williams of Real. They put on an agent called Elite Agents, and that was just an incredible event. So let's go with that one, Austin. And then let's go to, just because here in the chat, I know that, and I see some. We'll put some up here in a second, but I'm gonna do my own here. I know in the chat we've got Jody from OKC quite a bit. I just, we always say OKC is affordable. Let's find out. Okay, so Austin, your income at $175,000 is 104% more than your area's median. It's in a bracket that is higher than 76.6% of the area's other households. The median cost of housing here is 10.4% of your income. Okay, now if you're going to compare to OKC, if you're going to make the move from Austin to OKC, you would feel $13,500 richer if you moved from Austin to OKC. Would the $13,500 be worth it? Where would the overall cost of living be 7.2% lower, and annual costs, housing costs are $6,400 less? So this chart here shows you your income has a higher value in OKC than it does in Austin, Texas. So for people that are making this move, this is such a dynamic game to play with people that are thinking about making a move. Well, I got to get out of this state. I heard it all the time in the Northeast. I got to get out of this. I mean, listen, I'm sitting down here in Naples, Florida. I mean, there is a great benefit to the no state income tax, but you hear it all the time. People, I got to get out of the state. Okay, well, what's your personal situation? Let's plug in some numbers here and see how much richer, how much more wealthy you might be. Let's try a couple other locations. So, Haley, if we've got some locations here, we've got Boston versus Charleston. Great one. Definitely. Those are definitely feeder markets to each other. All right. I love that one. Boston. There we go. So Boston, $175,000, might not get you everything. What does it get you? Your income is 76.7% more than your area's median, and a bracket that's higher than 68.7% of. Okay, so doing pretty good still. The median cost of housing there is 12.9% of your income. I don't know. Some people might argue with that. Charleston, South Carolina. Love Charleston, South Carolina. I gotta get back over there. Just a beautiful spot. Okay, you would feel now this could be substantial here. You would feel $18,718 richer if you move from Boston to Charleston, where the overall cost of living is 9.7% lower, and the annual housing costs are $73.80 less. And you can see here the chat, big difference. Your income would $175,000 income would feel like $193,718 living in Charleston. And by the way, Charleston is not cheap. That shows you how expensive Boston is. Charleston is one of the more expensive locations that I've visited, and I think the food is fantastic. I was saying to somebody just this week, we were talking about Charleston. I said, I honestly believe maybe the best restaurant scene of any of those smaller communities stacks up there with anything on the foodie scene. Charleston for sure. If you haven't been there, just check it out. All right. What do we have? Another comparison? We've got New Haven, Connecticut to Kaufman County, Texas. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if we can get, those are two smaller. We've got New Haven, Milford Metro. So 175,000 in New Haven, your income is 33.2% more. So you're already feeling pretty good in New Haven, 133% more than your area's median. If you're making 175,000. Okay. And then we want to go to Kaufman County. Let's see here. Kaufman. And she put up another, I think that was Dawn. Dawn, you put up, i.e. Orange. All right. Or are you talking about Orange, Connecticut to Forney? Let's see what Orange brings. If there's a Texas and Orange, no. Let's go Forney. Is there something else I could put in there? I'm not getting Kaufman County. Let's see, Dawn. Is there anything else we can do? Orange, Forney. I'm not seeing anything. I know Kaufman County's a smaller metro. I could definitely put in Dallas. Yeah, I could do Dallas. Dallas, of course, is going to be here. So you would feel poorer by moving from New Haven, Connecticut. $4,379 poorer if you move from New Haven to Dallas, where the overall cost of living is 2.6% higher, but the annual housing costs are $924 less. So a little bit of savings there. Do we have another one here to plug into the would you feel richer moving from here to there? Santa Clarita to LA, where I'm supposed to be this week. Would Santa Clara classify? I'm going to do it anyways, but let me know if that works. To Los Angeles, okay? If we're going San Jose, Santa Clara, you put Santa Clarita, so I think that's different. My apologies. You would feel $3,383 poorer if you move from San Jose, Santa Clara area to LA, Long Beach, Anaheim area, where the cost of living is 2% higher, but the annual costs housing costs are $9,360 less. So huge savings there. Let's go with maybe a more traditional move that we hear about all the time. New York City to Miami. Let's see where that is. You would feel $7,484 richer if you move from New York City to Miami. The overall cost of living is 4.1% lower, and the annual housing costs are $3,900 left. So for everything you hear about NYC to Miami, that's where you can spin this both ways. Hey, you're going to feel richer moving from New York City to Miami. You're also going to have an income tax savings. But also on the flip side, if you love New York, if you're a broker for New York, would you make the move for less than 10 grand? To feel less than 10 grand richer, is the move worth it? right? And this is why it might be important to look at it from both angles. Okay, so interesting piece there from Bloomberg. Anybody in a feeder market, I think you'd want to do an analysis, okay, and help people really understand what they're getting into. A lot of times they don't know if they're going to love the other area until they do it. I often tell people that have been like thinking about it for years, it's like, hey, go try it. You're not a tree. You can always move back, right? But more data is going to help them be able to make a better decision. U.S. consumers right now, might need the extra money because some believe that the mighty American consumer is about to hit a wall. This is according to investors. Key engine of U.S. growth is poised to sputter in early 2024, according to survey respondents. Recently, more than half of the 526 respondents said that personal consumption, the most important driver of economic growth, will shrink in early 2024, which would be the first quarterly decline since the onset of the pandemic, another 21%. And these are investors, so the reversal will happen even sooner in the last quarter of this year as high borrowing costs eat into housing budgets while COVID area savings are running down. All right. So I've got some data points that on this here. High rates are eating in to household budgets. Debt payments are taking up growing share of U.S. household incomes. Even before the freeze on student loan interest ended this month, household interest payments, excluding mortgages, share of wage, salary, income. You can see here we're back up into the 2009 levels of high rates eating into the household budgets. Tight credit is the biggest burden for Americans, which will be the biggest obstacle through the end of the year. Declining availability of credit and high mortgage rates. 57% of professional investors and 60% of retail investors say that that's the biggest burden. So not only are the mortgage rates high, but the availability of this credit is also high, right? Meaning it is 10 times harder to get a loan today than it was in 2006. That's also a good thing for the health of the mortgage homeowner, but it is very restrictive right now. It's very hard to access a loan. It's, in the last 40 years, the most unaffordable point in the housing market. We need an increase of inventory to stabilize prices, even bring down home prices, or a lowering of the year fix. Now, I believe a lowering of the 30-year fix is just going to push prices back up because what do you think is going to happen? We'll have more competition. Student loans cutting into spending and a labor market slowdown were the other two on the chart. But declining availability of credit and high mortgage rates is what the future it looks like for agents, for people in the real estate market. Higher for longer, lower inventory for longer, which just means more work for longer for agents. That's the reality. Whether you like it or not, it'll be about putting in more conversations, more relationships. Definitely a harder work environment for everybody in housing here as we move forward into the fourth quarter of 2023 and into 2024. So you've got investors here saying that consumers are going to hit a wall, but Janet Yellen feels differently. And this is coming in a week where we've got CPI data on Wednesday, and we've got more inflation data coming on Thursday. So big week this week for our inflation reports. And so far, to lead the week off, the Dow's up, S&P's up, NASDAQ's up. So good signs coming out of the markets, good signs coming out of Janet Yellen, who's feeling very good about a soft landing for the U.S. economy. The Treasury Secretary hails data showing slowing price gains. We'll see if that remains true, or maybe she's just leaking out the information early. Does this mean we're going to get good inflation reports? I don't know. The market here on Monday seems to think that that's going to be the case. Yellen also is downplaying threats from a China-led BRICS expansion. Let's focus in here on America. I'm feeling very good about that prediction, Yellen said Sunday when asked about her previous hopes that U.S. would avoid a recession while still reining in consumer price gains. I think you'd have to say we're on a path that looks exactly like that. This is speaking in an interview from her aircraft, from our aircraft. We bought it, Janet, not you. So from U.S. taxpayers' aircraft. Thank you very much. En route back from attending the Group of 20, the Special 20, in New Delhi. The Treasury chief also played down any risk from China's efforts. Of course, just mentioned that the G20 remains the premier forum for global cooperation. All right. Yellen and President Biden attended the gathering, which was skipped by China's president against the backdrop of a raft of positive data on the world's largest economy. Headline inflation has slowed towards 3%, though still above the Federal Reserve's 2% target without any decline in payrolls or GDP. We are seeing, though, a little bit of a softening labor market, which is going to help Janet Yellen be right that we could see a soft landing. That's what everybody wants to see. It's what we're all pulling for. It would mean the lowest job loss in our fight against inflation. And it would enable the consumer to remain strong moving forward. If they keep their job, they can keep spending. Household net worth jumps to a record on stocks and home prices recently. The U.S. net worth jumped on a record in the second quarter as the value of real estate holdings and stock rose. Household net worth increased $5.5 trillion or 3.7% in the April-June period to $154 trillion. The value equity holdings climbed to about $2.6 trillion in the second quarter, while the value of real estate held by households rose $2.5 billion. Okay, so consumers rich. Who's the richest of them all? It's the baby boomers. I say this all the time. If you're focused on a demo in your market that's not going to be impacted by the 30-year fix, it's the baby boomers. 70 million people, just about 70 million people, baby boomers, own control 1/7 of the world's wealth. It's like 185 or 186 countries or something like that. 70 million people in the US control 1/7 of all the world's wealth. It's baby boomers. If you want to tap into people who are going to make a decision on real estate purchases or sales in a market where things are impacted by the 30-year fix, it's undoubtedly the baby boomers that can say, you know what, I'm making a life decision. I'm making a decision now because it's what I need to do for me, for my family, for my well-being, for my life. So a lot of people like to focus in on the millennials. Baby boomers are going to actually transact the most in 2023. The most transactions will be baby boomers here as we close out 2023. So, a lot of agents are like, when I gave this talk on Friday, I was talking about bedroom agents that just hope and pray that, some baby boomer will climb up their bedroom window and work with them. They're like, why don't I have any high-end deals? Well, you're focused on millennials and you're not leaving the house and meeting boomers, right? That's really as simple as it can. I can break it down for real estate agents who want to raise the price point in their community. Hang around baby boomers and you'll do more deals with people that got the money. How much more money will be available for home buyers with a mortgage this week? Well, let's take a look at where we ended last week on the 30-year fix. We had 7.22% on Friday. So a little bit down after topping out at 7.33 on Monday. The Freddie Mac 30-year fix weekly came in at 7.12. Looking forward to today, we do have a little bit of an increase here on the 10-year back up to 4.280. So we'll keep our eye on that as we always do. You should keep your eye on the last couple BAM Camp tickets. You shouldn't keep your eye on it. You should put your finger on it and purchase it. BAM Camp is not this Wednesday. It's next Wednesday. This is going to be bonkers down here in Naples. Okay. You camp counselors. We've got 20 speakers, just an unbelievable group going to be here in Naples next Wednesday. If you haven't gotten your ticket, make sure you do so. BAMX members get 25% off of BAM Camp ticket. Let me know in the comments in the live chat if you are going to be here for BAM Camp next week. It's next Wednesday, and there is literally just I don't know, about this many tickets left. I'm putting up my 10 fingers. There's not much left there. So get your ticket today. BAM X members get 25% off. Crazy value there. So if you're not a BAM X member, use code HOT to get 10% off of BAM X. That's literally coffee money. If you can't make it to Naples, but you're on the West Coast, you should come to FubCon. Follow Up Boss. I'm a Follow Up Boss user. These guys have a bigger speaker schedule than even we do. It's September 25th to the 28th, Los Angeles, California. Immerse yourself in a community of high achievers, world-class trainers, top producing agents, and leading industry voices. Okay, there's a link down below and a discount code with us to get 30% off. Okay, so if you use code, well, it's down below. I don't have it off the top of my head, but you get 30% off of that and then 55% off of second tickets if you want to go to FubCon there in September. Highly suggest doing that, whether you're a Follow Up Boss user or not, especially if you're on the west of the coasts. All right, that's our hot sheet for today. We'll be back here tomorrow, 9:30 on the east, 6:30 on the west. Until then, have a great day. And of course, toodaloo.